Welcome to Joe Stunner Boxing. You know, it's always nice when you get a prediction right, especially if it's an upset. And I got one right today because I predicted that Ricardo Sandoval would defeat the amazing boy, Kenshiro Teraji, over in Japan. He's not such a boy anymore, Teraji. He's 33 years old, and I thought he looked a little bit past his best in previous fights. I thought Sandoval might be in the right place at the right time, and sure enough, Sandoval got a thoroughly deserved win. It was a split decision. I thought one guy had it too wide, 117, 110. I had it 115, 112, which agreed with one of the judges. But it was a deserved win. And again, this shows that in close fights, and I thought Sandoval won it, but you could certainly give Teraji rounds. If you go to Japan, you're not going to get any of this sort of judging stupidity that we see in many, probably most other parts of the world. Sandoval won the fight convincingly. He did have to come through a bit of a crisis, but he was busier. It was kind of Teraji's sort of desire to knock him out compared to Sandoval's desire to just box and hit, like mixture of that box fighting that we see. He's a very well-schooled fighter, Sandoval. I've seen him before. He came in with 26 wins and 2 defeats. And he's 26 years old, so he's 7 years younger than Teraji. He's got 18 KOs in the it's now 27 wins. And the 2 defeats were on points. David Jimenez, who was undefeated at the time, outpointed him in 2022. And he had a very early career. I can't even remember the fighter's name. It was a journeyman, lost a majority 4-round decision. But there's no doubt this kid's very good. And this victory gives him the WBC and the WBA super flyweight, flyweight, not super flyweight titles. Yeah, Teraji was a unified champ, and now Sandoval's got the belts. Now, Sandoval began, I thought, very impressively. Nice. He fights in a very conventional, textbook way. Good jab, orthodox fighter. Mixes his punches up well, hooks to the body with the left hook well. Right hand over the top's pretty decent. And even though he was boxing quite conservatively for the first couple of rounds, he was winning them because Teraji looked to me like he was looking for that big wallop, especially with the right hand. He's got 16 wins in 25, 16 KOs, out of 25 wins. His only defeat previously was a 10th round stoppage to Masamichi Yabuki, who stopped him in 10, and then they fought again the following year. 2021 was the first fight, 2022 was the second fight. They fought again, and Teraji got his revenge in only 3 rounds. So he's beaten people like Anthony Olusoga. That was a good win. He was undefeated. He beat past his best Heki Badler. And in his last fight, he scored a 12th round TKO against Saigo Yuri Akui, and that was again he carries his power late, but I thought he looked like he'd slowed down a little bit in terms of volume of punch. And also the fight with Christopher Rosales, which he won last year in 2024. He stopped him in 11 rounds. So yeah, he carries the big wallop up with him, as the rounds go by. But he looked a little bit. He can be a little bit one-dimensional, but he looked a bit slower. There was something that made me think, I think Sandoval might have this. And in the early rounds, it certainly looked like Sandoval was sharper, the slicker, threading some nice jabs down the middle. Teraji wasn't hurt at all. I don't think he was really hurt throughout the whole fight. Maybe some body punches got to him. But he was losing the rounds. And then in the 5th round, he actually landed a right hand to the body, which seemed to grab Sandoval's attention. And then there was a left, and he brought a right hand over the top, Teraji, which landed bang on the side of Sandoval's face and put him over. And although Sandoval knew where he was, it wasn't a flash knockdown. He got sat down good and proper. So he got up. Fortunately, it was towards the end of the round. He made it to the end of the round. In the 6th round, Teraji again looking very dangerous with that right hand. He was clearly looking for that big right hand wallop. I gave him the 6th round as well. But then in the 7th, Sandoval had a really good round. He was boxing. He went back to his sort of box fighting. He was being first with the punches. He's got some nice little lateral movement, Sandoval, when he needs it. Especially if you look at the first round, excuse me, of this fight, he wasn't just in and out and a little bit of body movement. He was using his feet very, very well, but in no shape or form running. I mean, he can mix it up well, Sandoval. He can be offensive or he can do some back foot boxing. And he was showing a bit of everything. And then he started in the 7th round. He was really, that was the round where he was really banging to Teraji's body, heavy hooks to the body. And Teraji took him well, but as the fight wore on, he had quite a bad swelling and abrasion over on his right eye. He's got very sort of, tight eyes, should we say, like a lot of Japanese people, and the swelling shuts the eye pretty quick. I don't know whether the eye was shut, but it was the overall effect of Sandoval's punches was written on Teraji's face. And then, if I'm being honest, the last third of the fight, so we're talking, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, the final round was probably the best round of the fight because Teraji was really letting it hang out. I think he kind of knew he was behind, or he could be behind. And he was trying desperately to really hurt Sandoval. He knew he could put him on the floor because of what happened in the 5th round. But he couldn't quite do it again. And Sandoval himself landed a couple of very nice punches. And then the scores were announced, and it was a split decision for Sandoval. I don't think anyone complained. In fact, Teraji was upset at losing. I think he shed a few tears, but he very sportingly applauded Sandoval. Sandoval he was in tears of a different kind. But this was a good little fight. Not a thriller. It's not one of those Japanese thrillers that I keep ranting and raving about. But it was an interesting fight. And make no mistake about it, Sandoval is a very good champion. Teraji's been a good champion. They might have a rematch. I don't see a problem with a rematch. It wasn't the most thrilling of fights, but it was close enough to warrant a rematch. But I did think Sandoval won, 8-4 in rounds. But he had a couple of wobblers, especially the knockdown, the 10-8 that he lost. But a deserved win for Sandoval. And Sandoval, by the way, from the US. So to go to Japan and take a couple of belts off a very popular Japanese fighter is a real achievement. And Sandoval's only 26 years old. He's from California, by the way. So, yeah, maybe he'll invite Teraji over to the US for his first defence. But there's some good fighters at flyweight, and to go to Japan, especially with Japanese boxing really flying, and to pull off the upset, it's a good achievement, I think, for the young man. So, what did you think of this fight? As usual, it was on a very good Japanese card. And a bit of an upset. This was a Taiken Promotions, the Japanese outfit. They put on some fantastic cards. They really, really do. And I strongly advise anyone to, especially if you've got DAZN, a few of them are on DAZN, go and have a look at them from top to bottom. They're very competitive fights, very, very entertaining. Smaller guys, but very, very entertaining. All right, ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for watching this video. If you liked it, please hit the like button and also subscribe to the channel if you're new and spread the word about Joe Stunner Boxing. Many, many thanks. Let me know what you think. And bye for now.